Are nighttime bottle feeds leaving you exhausted and fumbling in the dark, desperate to get back to bed? If you are tired of endless nighttime chaos, babies crying, things everywhere, and you just wish there was a better way, then this episode is going to walk you through those simple, efficient hacks that are going to really help you to streamline nighttime feeds, making them faster and less stressful for both you and your baby. Welcome back, beautiful mama, to the New Mama Bible series. I'm Mrs. Manifestation, and today we are diving into the ultimate nighttime bottle feeding hacks that you need to know. These are tried and tested by me. These are methods that will help to get your baby back to sleep faster so that you can maximize your rest too. So whether you're formula feeding or you're using express breast milk, then this episode is going to empower you to set up a nighttime routine that works for you. If you find these tips helpful, please like and share this video with another sleep-deprived mama who will need it. And make sure to sign up to the New Mama Bible at mrsmanifestation.com/new mama for more resources and support. So number one, I want you to create an ultimate feeding kit that's going to help you so much. So preparation is really key when it comes to making nighttime feeds quick and efficient. Here's what you need to set up your ideal kit. Number one, you need to get yourself a small box for all your supplies. Okay, this is just a little box that you keep. It's dedicated, it keeps you organized and less faffing about and things all over the place. I would highly recommend that you use pre-measured formula for nighttime feeds, however many feeds you have, and label these if there are more than one. So you can just use a Sharpie or something like that to identify number one, it's your first feed, number two, it's the second, if you have more than one. So you can use formula containers with compartments. I actually got mine from Sainsbury's in the UK. It has 3 different compartments. They're really, really handy, but I know that you can get them at other supermarkets too. And these are really useful for measuring out formula powder in advance. Some are just singular and they're really handy for popping in your bag if you're going to do this elsewhere. But for nighttime feeds and multiple feeds, make sure that you've got it well labeled so you don't get confused during the night. Number 2 in your box is going to be sterilized bottles. Have one ready to go and maybe even a backup because you never know what's going to happen. And these are ideally kept in your nighttime feeding kit. Obviously, they're sterilized that evening prior to using. I would also highly recommend that you invest in a clean new thermos flask. This is going to help you to prepare your boiling water just before night, and get one of the ones, I think, I'm trying to remember the brand of mine. I think it was a Milton actually. It was around about £20 from Amazon in the UK, but it's really good because it keeps the water super hot, so you can guarantee, like I did some tests on this through the night to make sure, but it was the exact temperature that it had to be. And I would always put it in straight from boiling, because by the time that we got to that first or second or whatever feed, it had cooled down just very slightly, enough that it was the perfect temperature required to kill any bugs in the formula. Next, you'll need some kitchen scales, and this is so that you can pop your bottle on the top, you can add your formula, then press on and add the correct amount of water. It just keeps you right. It keeps you from messing about and second guessing yourself. I would probably have a dedicated set of kitchen scales. That's what I did. I just bought a second set and I kept them upstairs at the feeding station, and it's just really handy. Secondly, and lastly, the last optional thing, if you can splurge, then a mini fridge is going to really help you, because what you'll want to do if you're using the method that I'm going to recommend, which I really liked, obviously you've got your own recommendations based on what preparation, what formula you're using, but I used what I find to be the shot method. So what I would do is I'd put the formula shot, I'd put 1/3, I find was the correct ratio. 1/3 would be boiling water. Well, it was not boiling, it was I think 70 degrees. It was 1/3 of that, swirl it around until the formula is fully mixed, until all the bugs are killed. And then what I then do is I top it up with 2/3 of cooled boiled water. And that cooled boiled water I kept in the mini fridge that would mean that it would cool that hot water down rapidly, and there was really no need for me to actually be waiting, running bottles under the tap. It was the perfect temperature. Now, I would say it's very important here that you check this out for yourself. I also, because it might be too hot, too cold, just be very careful when you're dealing with hot things for your baby. Make sure you check the recommendations, obviously, on the manufacturer's guidance on the formula that you're using. But that was invaluable for me because it meant that I could sneak out of bed, quickly make up the bottle, and then actually go and wake up my baby and give him the bottle. And it was just so quick, so organized, so much easier than like waiting for the kettle to cool down, waiting for all of these things to happen. And just, it would have been a disaster in trying to calm everybody down, especially if you've got other children in the household and other adults. You just don't want to be waking everybody up. So the second recommendation I would make up is that you set up a feeding station, because having a designated station can make the world of difference. And I would recommend that you create your feeding station outside of the bedroom. If possible, set it up in another room so that your baby remains undisturbed. You can sneak up out of bed and you can prep the bottle. The goal here is really to minimize any disruptions and prepare everything efficiently. And as I said, have all your essentials in one place. Have your special little feeding kit in your box already there, already set out. You don't need to go and get it. It's there before you go to bed. Your station has everything you need. It's got burp cloths, it's got scales, it's got a nightlight. You never left searching in the dark for anything that you need. So important. And I would also recommend that you're just thinking, what if, my bottle had to spill? What if this happened? Would I have a backup? Always have backups for absolutely everything you need. And just get one of those mini, the little night lights that you can just tap on and off. You can get these to dot around your home just in case of emergencies. These are super useful for your feeding station, because sometimes you don't have your phone or your flashlight or your nightlight or whatever, and it's just good to have a spare one just as a backup when you're in the dark. Now, if you are liking these tips so far, then don't forget to share this with a friend who could really benefit from these ideas at this newborn stage. Now, next I'd like to move on to something very relevant, but you may not expect, and this is the benefits of a feeding schedule. Now, as a formula feeding mama, you have a unique advantage. You have the ability to create a consistent feeding schedule. There are countless benefits to having a structured feeding routine. You can do whatever you like. You can be baby-led if you like, but when your baby is fed on a consistent schedule, like mine was, well, my baby was more likely to be satisfied and content, which meant less crying and fewer nighttime disruptions. A lot of the times babies are waking up because they're hungry, but if you can ensure that they're having the correct amount, you ensure that they're happy, they're well-winded, there's really not going to be that much of a reason for them to wake up until the next feed is due. So that's really, really important. With the schedule, you get more control and flexibility, because with a schedule, you can gradually adjust the frequency of feeds, you can gradually adjust the timings, and do what I did, which was eventually eliminate those nighttime feeds when your baby is developmentally ready. So I had it planned out that basically by 6 months, I know they say you can do this in 12 weeks. There is a really good book on that. I think it's 12 hours in 12 weeks, something like that. But I waited till 6 months because I really wanted to make sure he was totally ready. But up until then, it was literally just maybe between 4 months to 6 months. It was just a dream feed around about 10 or 11 at night. And it was a nice big bottle, and I gradually decreased that until I could just remove that. So that is a huge benefit of being a formula feeding mama, and why I always suggest that you decide on the schedule versus my baby cries and then I feed them is because, well, you're totally eliminating the need for your baby to cry. And secondly, you get all that flexibility when it comes to meeting their needs developmentally and eventually getting rid of those nighttime feeds, meaning more sleep for you, more sleep for your baby, happiness all round. And I 100% make sure that you contact and you're in touch with your healthcare providers, your pediatricians, before you make any of these choices, because this is essentially a podcast. this, I am not a doctor, so very important that you do follow the instructions and guidelines that you've been given with your healthcare providers. But essentially, meeting your baby's nutritional needs on a predictable schedule is going to provide a sense of stability, and it makes nighttime care much easier. My son was always woken up for his feeds, and therefore he didn't wake up. Sometimes he woke up when he was just learning and sleep training, but after that point, it was like, no, he slept through because I woke him up, so he had no need to wake up. And then it makes the whole sleep training thing a lot easier too. Now, next, I would 100% encourage you to create a calming environment, because a calm, comfortable setting is going to make nighttime feeds much smoother for you and your baby. So soft lighting, like a gentle nightlight or a dim salt lamp, to avoid overstimulating your baby and you, okay? And bright lights can make things so much harder for both of you to fall back asleep. So make sure it's nice and dim and you're not, really fully floodlighting the place, making it much harder for you guys to get back into that nighttime dreamy state of mind. Efficient diaper changes, nappy changes. Apply a generous amount of cream during changes, because this is going to help to prevent nappy rashes. Obviously, there's going to be a wet nappy on your baby for an extended amount of time, so just make sure that you're fully properly creaming up your baby so that they're lovely and smooth and protected during the night. And if your baby's extra hungry, you never know, having an extra ready-made bottle can just save you precious minutes and calm your little one quickly. You never know what's going to happen, as I said. And finally, don't forget to take care of yourself, because your well-being matters so much, mama. So here's how to make these nights easier on you. Number one, comfortable setup. Make sure you've got a nice chair or something that you can be comfortable in. For example, I bought a lovely rocking chair that was really beautiful in the room. I added a couple of pillows for support. If you're staying in bed, make sure you've got a supportive cushion for your back and your arms, because we can be really hard hit in these areas. Make sure as well that you're staying hydrated. Keep your large water bottle within reach. Hydration is key for your recovery, especially if you're expressing milk or you're recovering from birth. And number three, some self-care to help you fall back asleep. If you are struggling to get back to sleep, then don't forget, practice deep breathing. Use guided meditations. Use your phone with some headphones to help calm your mind. And if these self-care reminders resonate with you, then share this with a mama who may be struggling. And don't forget to sign up to the New Mama Bible at mrsmanifestation.com/new mama for even more resources and tips. So to finish off this episode, just remember, mama, that those nighttime feeds won't last forever, I promise. But in the meantime, you deserve to make them as easy as possible. With the right setup and a few simple strategies, you can get back to sleep faster and make nights a little less exhausting for you. You're doing an amazing job. And just remember, every effort you make is for your baby's well-being. So thank you for joining me today. For more practical support and guidance, sign up to the New Mama Bible at mrsmanifestation.com/new mama. You've got this, mama. I can't wait to hear about your journey in the comments. Make sure to leave any comments about any tips you've found. I'm sure that other mamas just like you would absolutely love to hear them, and I certainly would too. So thank you for joining me today. I'll see you in the next episode, and I'm sending you so much love for those nighttime feeds. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next episode.